Welcome back to another episode of the Greenhouse Gals here at Buchwalter Greenhouse. My name's Tiffany.
Yeah, and I'm Olivia.
And today we're going to talk our third session about gardening, but this time directly in the ground, traditional gardening.
Yes, so just straight in the soil that you have, a traditional plot on your property. So it's your property. The ground you were dealt. So
just the earth.
Yes. Why is it beneficial? Okay, like why should we do traditional plotting?
Sure.
What's good about it?
Yeah, if you have the room, that's the best way to grow your corn, your bigger vegetables. Corn has to be in rows. I mean, I've seen people grow, a couple stalks here and there, but then you have to be very intentional about pollinating it. So corn would be one to do in rows.
Yeah.
If you have vining crops like pumpkins, squash, those will all take up a lot of room. So you just have to do it in the ground.
Yeah.
Raised beds are really hard to do it justice.
Yeah. Yeah, so your bigger things. Yeah, I had that too. Pumpkin, melons, squash, corn. So tilling the new ground. Like the first year, I know this is something we were doing last year. You just get it, like we had to buy a tiller and we just tilled up the grass.
Sure.
Can you work stuff in that first year? Should you, or do you just till it up? How do you get that soil ready the first year if you want to make a new spot in your yard?
Yeah. If you're starting with, fresh ground that still has things growing on it, I would try to kill what's on top first.
Okay.
If you want to avoid weed killers, getting a big piece of fabric, black weed fabric, or even like we've used pond liner before, because if it's black, the sun will heat it up and kill what's on that top layer.
Yeah.
So then you can just go ahead and till it through.
Okay.
There are weed killers out there that you can do that are organic, and they'll just fry that foliage that's there. So that would be another way to go about it.
Okay.
But really getting that top killed off, and then you can definitely go ahead and start tilling it. If you don't feel like you have to buy a tiller, you can also rent them.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Like around here, I know General Rental, I saw they had them lined up that you could rent.
Okay.
And there's some people, sometimes neighbors will offer to do it.
Yeah.
But if you can, I would definitely start adding compost that first year.
Okay.
And don't go too big as far as size of your garden the first year when you're doing a traditional plot, because you have to remember you're going to end up weeding it.
Yeah.
And you don't want to invest all this time and then get to August and hate the fact that you did all that work. So come here, Toby. So yeah, tilling, you could work on tilling in compost like bumper crop or some manure that's been aged. But the other thing to do if you're doing a larger piece is do that directly when you plant it. Work that into the rows when you're going to actually plant.
Yes. Yeah. When should you till a garden? Like the fall and like over winter have it ready, or like in the spring? Just like I don't know. I think we were doing it. It was muddy, and we found like a good dry day, and we were just out there doing it. When are you supposed to do it? Any special time?
I would do it closer to when you're going to start planting. If you do it the winter before, it's going to get all hard and unworkable over the winter. You're gonna have to do it all over again.
Okay.
So our goal has usually been to do it like the week that we're going, like we till the week that we're gonna start planting.
Okay.
Because the ground's worked up and it's fresh, and it hasn't. Ideally, the forecast will be nice enough that it's not gonna rain. If it's muddy, don't even bother, because with Ohio clay, you're just going to make a worse mess, and it's gonna be miserable.
Okay.
So ideally, it's a time that's dried out. So we're in March right now. Probably another, month and a half before you're gonna really want to start tilling. But if you look ahead at the weather, we can plan in some time for it.
Yeah. And then like every year, so like this year it'll be our second year with the garden in the ground. Do we need to retill that up, or like Like when should
I
we start that?
probably
Does it
would.
help to do it more? Like the more the better, or just like one time good enough?
Not always. When you're tilling, it's usually to work the ground up, number one, and then another reason to till would be to deter weeds.
Okay.
Because you're breaking up the
Yeah.
soil where they were growing.
Yeah.
So the way I've grown up, we've just always tilled every year.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen some other people that are trying like no-till gardens, but I don't have any experience doing that.
Yeah.
So that would be something that if you're interested in a no-till garden, I mean, there is some planning that has to go around with that.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So then picking a place, sun, water. Is there like something we
Yes.
should pick out
Yes.
when we're gonna pick a place?
Goal is always at least 8 hours or more of sunlight. So if it's by a lot of trees or close to your house, it may not be ideal. Can you still grow things? If it's less than 8 hours, yes, but you're not going to have as good of a crop. Getting water out to where it's located is always a big issue, because if it's a drought, if we have a drought like we did last summer, you're going to need to haul water. So how far are you willing to go?
Yeah.
If you're able to load up, a wagon with, buckets of water, great. Then put it out in that spot.
Yeah.
Also think too, where your water tends to drain, because we had to adjust where we put ours because we moved some new buildings around and the water started draining and it was holding a lot of water. So if it's overly soggy for a long, long period of time, like weeks after a hard rain, it's probably not going to thrive with your vegetables.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, that's good. I remember that growing up too. Yeah. We moved our garden as well to the top of the hill. Okay. So then, do you need to water your in-ground garden? How often? And then do plants get water from the ground naturally? How important is it really to water this in-ground garden?
Sure. I mean, if it's ideally, you want to have about 2 inches of rain a week.
Okay.
So if it's not raining that much, you would need to supplement with water if you want to get that beneficial crop. If you want to get the best harvest, that's with plants that are the least amount of, disease and stress on them, then consistent watering and even watering just helps level everything out where you're not going to see as many bugs, you're not going to see as many diseases, because those things pop up when your plants are stressed, whether it's not enough water or too much water. Yeah. So if you're able to fill in with watering, you'll be more successful later on.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, very good. Okay, so just kind of wrapping up here, we're still waiting till March 15th around. That's like the first date we could really get some of those early crops out in the ground. But is there anything we can do in March right now for like an in-ground garden?
Sure,
just planning wise.
I know, it's hard because March is this like in-between little bubble of you get some nice 60, even a 70-degree day, and you want to be outside. So start planning out what you're going to put. The first things you can start planting would be onions, peas. Usually the tradition is you can plant your onions and peas around, or even potatoes as early as St. Patrick's Day. Okay, yep. Which I think is the 17th this year. Yeah. So that's super, it's still like really early for that. Okay. But there's some people like that is how they grew up. That is what they've been taught to do tradition-wise. You go for it. So that's the earliest I would say you could start doing that. So if you wanted to, go ahead and till up a row for those, then it'd be ready to go. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good. All right. Here is a just wonder question. Okay. So let's just wonder here. Just wonder. You grow veggie crops year round in a greenhouse. Could we live and eat from a greenhouse? Okay. Okay. I thought, wouldn't it just be amazing if we had a greenhouse and we could grow our own produce year round? You never have to go to the store. You just walk out and pick your own veggies. Right. Is that ever possible in Ohio? Now, I would say yes, with certain conditions. Okay. Those conditions being grow lights, and that's probably the biggest thing is grow lights. Yeah. Okay, just light. Yeah, the light, and that's why starting seeds or growing anything like too early is very difficult to do because they have to have a certain number of daylight hours.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's places that grow lettuce and spinach and vegetables in warehouses that have, they're not even a greenhouse. It's a literal warehouse with no windows.
Yeah.
But because they have such great grow lights in there and they can do it hydroponically, it is possible. So I'd say not necessarily everything may grow really well like that. It's going to affect the taste.
Yeah, like is that light the same as the sun? I mean, no, but like,
If you grow things hydroponically, that means you're just using water. You're not growing them in any soil or a potting mix. So I think a lot of times you'll get taste.
Yeah.
That's why homegrown tastes so much better than it's. Yeah. So it's not going to be the same as growing in the ground, but if we had to, if we needed to, yes, we can do it.
Okay. Okay, very good. Yeah, that would just be so nice if you just had everything, like an in-ground garden all year round. Because it's so sad you only get like a certain amount of time.
I know.
To do it.
Certain things would be easier than others.
Yeah.
Like like I said, herbs, lettuces, spinach, those like a no-brainer. Like you could get your leaf microgreens.
Yes.
Would be another easy one. Microgreens you could do year round.
Okay. Do
you know what those are?
Yeah.
Like
little.
Basically sprouting seeds and eating them as seedlings.
Yeah.
So that's something easy you could do year round without even having a greenhouse. You just sprout them on a wet paper towel.
Yeah.
And get your veggies that way.
Yeah, very interesting. Okay, well, anything else about traditional plots in-ground planting that you can think we all need to know?
Staying ahead of the weeds is probably your biggest, I'd say, advantage, because once they get out of hand, it's so easy to give up. Yeah. And so if you're proactive about either tilling between rows or hoeing between rows once a week, if you put that on your calendar, like this is my time, I'm going to go out in the garden and I'm going to go real quick through the rows. Yeah. You're going to save yourself so much headache. Yeah. Not just with the weeds overpowering your plants, but it'll keep the pests down and other unwanted things, disease. Yeah.
Okay, very good. Yeah, weeds in the garden. That goes with it.
Weeds.
But it's all good. Stay up with it, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, I want to be better about using a weed preventer this year, because there's like corn gluten is something you can use to prevent weeds, or like seeds from germinating. Yeah. But you can't use it if you have seeds planted that you want to germinate. You can't use it until they're already up. Okay. So that's the only thing is you got to get it after your vegetables are up, preferably before any more weed seeds germinate. So I don't know. Yeah. That's my goal this year is to work on that.
Yeah. Yes. Very good. So, all right. Well, that's all we have. Yeah, for this episode. All right. Traditional plots. We will see you on the next one.
All right. Thanks for joining us on the Greenhouse Gals at Buchwalter Greenhouse.